Chad Reed has won 15 of the past 18 AMA 250 Supercross races. Even more impressively, Yamaha's Big Blue streak is after his 3rd title in as many years. The Thunder from Down Under goes for his 10th win of the season right now on ESPN2. Welcome to Texas Stadium. It's the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. And good evening on a beautiful night here in Irving, Texas. Temperature's very comfortable, but the racing will certainly heat things up. Hello, everyone. I'm Todd Harris. We got a great night of 250 racing for you on tap. And remember, it all culminates in Las Vegas, Nevada, the official destination of Supercross. Here's how the points break down right now with just 2 more stops to go after Las Vegas. There are your AMA standings with Chad Reed with a comfortable lead over Kevin Windham, Mike LaRocco, David Vuillemin, and Michael Byrne rounding out the top 5. On the THQ World Supercross GP, it's a little dicier. There's Damon Huffman, Heath Voss, and Tyler Evans, really the only ones in contention right now for that title. I bring in my co-host, Cameron Steele. And Cameron, it has been a crazy season. Chad Reed has been dominant. He's done what he's had to do. But the rumors that have been swirling the last 3 weeks, have you seen anything like this before?
I really haven't, and I call it the fishing season, not the silly season, because all the agents in motocross are here in Dallas. Everybody is trying to work a deal. There's so many hot rumors. Right now, I was just listening to an agent downstairs speculating Chad Reed possibly riding yellow bikes with an auto manufacturer as his title sponsor. Anything can happen. That's why they call it the silly season. But I asked Kevin Windham what he thought about it all. He says, I really don't care. I have a deal for next year, but I think it's kind of funny to listen to all the turmoil.
It is a soap opera indeed. Right now, let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Jamie Little. Jamie, what's your latest scoop?
Well, you know, there's a lot of riders that don't have deals for next year, so they're all kind of sitting around waiting for Chad Reed and Bubba to sign deals. As we've been saying, though, Bubba can't talk to anybody until May 1st. That's the Las Vegas Supercross. But I did ask Chad what he thought about Ricky signing with Suzuki, and he said, you know, it really puts things in perspective. We will leave a factory. If they don't make us happy, we don't have to stay there. I think that the teams were trying to back down. They're trying to cut our money in half, and now they're having to double the money, and they're having to give us what we want. So I think it puts things in perspective.
All right, thank you very much, Jamie. And as Cameron said, the fishing season will continue. Just another reason to get your tickets for Las Vegas, our finale. Right now, Cameron Steele is all revved up, folks. It's time for the MX Unleashed track experience.
Well, if you're weak of heart, don't watch the left side of your screen. This is Ryan Clark taking us for a ride around this track here in Dallas. This is an either-or section. You go to the right, you have a double and then some whoops. You're going to want to try to shift into 3rd, carry your momentum on the left side. 2 sets of whoops. We'll see which way the guys go. They've been going to the right. A triple jump, that's about 65 feet. Air it out, and then a step down with no lip. Kind of sketchy. You might see guys flipping wheels. Step on, step off, or you can triple over those. That would be a lot of fun. There's going to be some passing right here in this corner. Very slippery getting back onto the start straight. A right turn, and the big dogs in the 250 class will be mixing it up here. You'll see Ryan stepping on and stepping off. There will be triples going on in there. Some big air time we saw in practice, so watch out. Another either-or here. You can stay on the right, go through some whoops. You can go on the left and kind of double through. Hit another triple jump, get some air, grab a tear off, make a left turn, and then another small rhythm section, probably right in 2nd gear, shifting into 3rd to catch that last jump, and then the finish line, and that's your MX Unleashed track experience.
Well, as we look at the canvas that they will work their magic on, this is how you advance to the main event. 2 heats, 4 transfer in each, 2 semis, 5 transfer, and then that all-important LCQ, only 2 transferring out of there, giving us a total of 20 riders. As we take a look at our starting grid, it's Windham, LaRocco, Way, Voss. Tyler Evans is in there, Keith R. Johnson, Joe Aloff, Jason Thomas, Pavoni, and Isaiah Johnson. Hoffmaster, Hassel, Lewis Wilson, Martin Ewing, Reyes, Cloth, Casillas, and Michael Koch. Got them all in there. It should be a great one. Remember, we're going 8 laps, top 4 of the name, 5 through 20 to semi 1. And looking at that graphic there, a lot of riders out of Supercross right now, Todd, but one guy out of the game fast. How's Kevin Windham? Has been looking great on this track where throttle control is key. The dirt is slippery, but
Look who's got a good start. Mike LaRocco's been getting great starts towards the end of the season here.
I don't know what LaRocco's been feeding him, but the turnaround has been tremendous the last 4 weeks for Mike LaRocco. Is saying that hole shots were his Achilles heel, and right now he's running right up front with fellow Honda rider Kevin Windham. Windham on that big 4-stroke has a few problems getting around the corner, and he's back on the gas.
We were actually talking Kevin Windham, one of the better riders with throttle control right in the 4-stroke when the track's slippery. He may have an advantage, and you see him sliding around. You can only imagine the 250s will break traction much easier than the 4-stroke. And, well, Windham's shooting out front. Look at these guys.
Mike LaRocco, number 5, on board the Honda. Right behind him, number 27, out of Michigan. That is Nick Way on board the Suzuki. Very talented rider. Way right now running in 3rd place. The green flag is out. This is 250. Heat number 1. We're going 8 strong laps. Kevin Windham all but checking out right now. Look at Nick Way. Trying to push LaRocco on the inside. He'll drop in right behind him. And right behind them, here comes Heath Voss, a guy who's in the running for the World Supercross GP title.
Well, not only in the running, he's tied with Damon Huffman right now for the points. But the thing everybody needs to know, Damon Huffman had a problem, a practice crash. His hand is all torn up. Some people say it looks like they put his hand into a meat grinder.
Oh, my.
So he's barely able to hold on the bike. In the next heat, we'll see him. He's actually running hand protector on one side, but Heath Voss right now, moving up past Nick Way. He's looking at $100,000 if he wins that championship.
Unbelievable. Right now, let's check in quickly with Jamie Little.
Well, you guys, this championship would mean everything to Heath Voss. He's putting it all on the line, and tonight, Damon Huffman is not up to par. He went down this week through a chain and messed up his hand pretty bad. He's having a hard time pulling that clutch in.
All right, thank you very much, Jamie. So your running order looks like this is Windham, LaRocco. Voss moves up on Way. Nick Way slides back to 4th, and then it's Johnson and Evans rounding out the top 6.
When I talked to Heath in Europe at the beginning of the season, which everybody that wanted to be a part of the World Supercross GP had to go to Europe for points, Heath was like, you know, I'm kind of like not exactly where I want to be. And you can tell with his results, he didn't have the greatest results. And as the season's gone on, it's like he's getting his testing and his training and everything together. As he goes, he's been putting in some really good rides. And right now, he's pulling up on the rocket. Mike LaRocco, he won a Supercross this year.
Voss, number 28, on board the Yamaha, giving Mike LaRocco all the business. Nick Way getting back into the fray, and here comes Voss. Look at this. Voss puts an inside move on Mike LaRocco, something that is not easy to do.
And he keeps it real clean, and check his speed. He's looking great. See if LaRocco tries to get back under him.
Oh, we've got a great one, folks, and this is only a heat race. Stick around. Your running order, Windham, LaRocco, and Voss. Voss now ahead of LaRocco. Texas Stadium to sight. This is 250, heat number 1. Your running order, Kevin Windham way out in front. Voss continues to hold down 2nd place, followed by Mike LaRocco and Nick Way, who's in 4th. And those are your 4 transfer positions. But Mike LaRocco got a great start. I think Voss surprised him a little bit on that move, but it was a clean move, but he was fully committed. And I got to give credit to the AMA. A lot of people love him or hate him, whatever, but they've done a great job this year in maybe cleaning the sport up just a little bit. And I think what that translates into is the caliber of riding has gone way up.
So what you're saying is they're keeping it clean and not knocking each other over anymore. I like that.
Well,
yeah.
I think what's happened is the riders are trying to find a new way to get around it. And they're thinking, well, if I can't do it by bumping bars, I'm going to do it by being a little craftier and maybe refining my skills in the corners a bit. And I think that's exactly what we've been seeing. Heath Voss is a prime example. As you look at the pass one more time, as LaRocco comes through, as he currently sits in 3rd place. Heath Voss, number 28, with a beautiful pass on Mike LaRocco. And Mike will probably be the first one to tell you, yeah, I left the door wide open.
Well, what happened is he didn't have the run through that section. There's multiple lines there. He's getting a triple at the end, having the momentum just going right inside of Iron Mike. And, you know, oh, real slipper right there. You see Mike flat tracking around the corner. Watch the whoops with Voss. He drops the wheel in there. He still keeps the momentum going.
So LaRocco sits in 3rd. Voss sits in 2nd. And the man who is out in front, number 14, Kevin Windham, takes the white flag. Our final lap here in 250, heat number 1 from Texas Stadium. Kevin Windham had some extremely fast lap times, Cameron, in practice today.
For sure he did, and I talked to him back by his rig before the race, and I asked him about the season. You know, what's the game plan here? And he didn't want to just say that, well, basically Chad's got the title. He's not going to give up. He still wants to win races, he says. But, you know, that's what he's got to focus on, winning, and if there's any chance at the title, well, he'll be there for it, but he really doesn't think there's much hope.
Taking that left-hand turn very gingerly as he goes by Kyle Lewis. Lucky sliding behind. Kevin Windham, who's out in front on the white flag lap. And not to get ahead of ourselves, but it looks like Kevin Windham will qualify for the main event if Chad Reed does the same. Chad Reed gets a first, and Kevin Windham gets a ninth. Chad Reed would clinch the title as he sends out a little love here to the folks in Texas. His home not too far away, but Kevin Windham on a mission to possibly delay the win of Chad Reed, and he picks up a victory. Kevin Windham, your winner, 250, heat number 1.
And a very popular win in opening ceremonies. I thought they were going to blow the roof off this place. Well, there really isn't any roof in the center for Kevin Windham and Chad Reed.
Your official results, 250, heat number 1. It's Windham picking up the victory, followed by Heath Voss, Michael LaRocco, and Nick Way, all transferring to the main. Tyler Evans on the outside looking in. He'll go to semifinal number 1. Right now, let's send it down to Jamie Little.
Well, you guys, if anybody can stop Chad Reed, it's Kevin Windham. He's proved it over and over. But, Kevin, you lost some valuable points in Pontiac. Tonight, though, you have unleashed a beast. I've seen it on your face, on and off the track. You're very serious. What's going through your mind?
Well, I've always done good here in Dallas, so I'm thinking, why not tonight? You know, my Honda's in factory connection is working great. This 450 is awesome. Bridgestone tires are doing great. So I'm looking forward to a good night. I grew up riding here in Texas, got a lot of friends and family, and before this year, my last win was here in 2000, so it's great to be here.
It's never too early to plan for the new season. The 7th annual Maxxis US Open is only a few months away, and as always, the MGM Grand in Las Vegas is the official destination for the sport's richest event. This October 8th to the 10th, all your favorite stars are expected to be on hand on their new rides for 2005. Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, and will we see James Stewart on a 250? The Maxxis US Open coming back to the MGM Grand Las Vegas this October. 250, heat number 2 on the line as we take a look at Damon Huffman. Remember, Cameron, the hand is injured. We'll see how he is, but he is in the fight of his life for the World Supercross GP lead.
And you can see the handguard there. You see him pulling his goggles off just on that one side. Ripped his ring finger apart and also ripped his hand apart. It looks like hamburger meat, they're saying.
As we take a look at the starting grid, there's Chad Reed, David Vuillemin, Michael Byrne, Damon Huffman, Sean Hamlin, Ryan Clark's also in there, as is number 11, Ezra Lusk, and Ted Campbell, number 77. So as we get set to go, it's 250, heat number 2. Board is sideways as we take a look at the field lined up. Chad Reed's out there. He's got a great starting position. Reed in the middle of the pack, wheelies over that little bump. And Chad Reed, number 22, grabs the whole shot. We got riders going down. A horrific crash. Up and walking around is that rider, so we'll get back to him and find out as we go on board with Ryan Clark. We're under our helmet cam right now, and the man who is just all but gone, number 22, Chad Reed, picking up where we left off, and I think possibly he heard Jamie Little's interview with Kevin Windham saying that tonight might be the night, and here's Chad's answer to that.
Well, definitely a smooth flowing style over that first stutter bump, keeping his momentum going, not letting it break up the traction. Riders crashing all over the place. Saw Ryan Clark with the helmet cam in that, but right now the question is, does Michael Byrne have some speed for Chad Reed? Because Byrne has some lines that no one else was doing in that combination section they just went through.
The Aussies are coming. Chad Reed in first, an Australian, and Michael Byrne in second. Look at the crash, the bottom of your screen. That, my friends, the get-off landing right on his head. That hay bale was unbelievable, saving that rider.
And then when you come on board with Ryan Clark, can't really see right there what went on, but here there's another problem in this section. Oh, bike's going down, someone slid out. There's Huffman with the bad hand, and whoa, see Brian Mason running out of the way of Ryan Clark, and that's definitely first-hand footage. It felt like we were on the bike there for a second.
Unbelievable, the action in that first turn. Whole shots are not for wimps. Chad Reed has all but checked out. Fellow countryman Michael Byrne sits in second. Ezra Lusk, number 11, currently running in third. And then Mr. Vallejo, number 74, in fourth, and the final transfer position. But Cameron, you know, I think we don't give enough due respect to Chad Reed because he has done everything he had to do to win a championship this year, and he's done it very quietly.
I don't know about not giving him the respect. Come on.
He is phenomenal.
The guy is unbelievable. We've been saying it all year. He is stomping people everywhere he goes. I think it's possibly our bad for trying to pump up other guys that could beat him.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys did do it, LaRocco and Windham, but Chad Reed is such a phenomenal Supercross rider. And I was talking to him, and his teammate actually here, Vuillemin, making some moves to number 12, the Cobra. This guy, when he puts it together, he is scary fast.
David Vuillemin has a lot of speed. So right now it is Chad Reed, your leader, out in front. Then comes Michael Byrne, but number 12, David Vuillemin moving up on Eric Vallejo, currently sitting in 5th place. Now that is not a transfer position, but Eric Vallejo, as we saw in Pontiac, burned himself right through his pants, down into the muscly part of his leg. He's running with a special pad, and here comes Vuillemin.
Definitely don't expect him to give much of a fight to Vuillemin. He is riding in so much pain. I was talking to him today during practice. It looked like he was crying. His eyes were watered up, and he said he's got a special bandage on it so it doesn't really rub or tear on the skin. He says he's got to clean it 3 times a day. He says it's gruesome.
No question about it. Right now, Vuillemin, though, makes the pass, so he moves into that transfer position. So your top 4 go Reed, Byrne, Lusk, and Vuillemin. Top 4 moving on to the main event. Everyone else goes on to semifinal number 2. And let's talk about David Vuillemin. He is a master of the whoops, although it didn't look like right there. What do you think the missing ingredient is with him? Initially, I thought maybe it was fitness, but David Bailey pretty much ran him through the ringers and tried to get that fitness in him. Everyone's always said Vuillemin rides his best when he's angry.
Well, I've said that too. When he gets focused and maybe upset a little bit, he gets angry and wants to attack, because he has such a smooth flowing style, you know. Sometimes it doesn't look like he's really attacking, but he's so fast all the time. It's hard to pinpoint what it is about Vuillemin. Maybe it's something not that's Vuillemin. Maybe it's the fact that Windham and Reed just have wigged up their game a little bit.
Well, David Vuillemin's favorite time of the year. The Supercross season's winding down. Motocross is coming up, and he's a huge NBA fan, and you can see the NBA playoffs here on ESPN. Stick around, more Supercross when we come back.
Always there.
And welcome back to Texas. We'll be back to more racing momentarily, but right now it's time for Honda's All Access. Clear Channel and Asterisk sponsored a great luncheon, thanking all the sponsors who made this weekend possible. And what a spread it is. When you come to Texas, they treat you right here at Texas Stadium. Back to racing we are, and that is another Honda All Access. I'll tell you, they come to Texas, they treat you right. You're looking at your leader right now, 250, heat number 2. That is Chad Reed out of Australia on board the Yamaha YZ250 Yamaha Motorcorp Bridgestone sponsored ride. Also, Scott putting the headgear on him, and Chad Reed does the rest.
You see right there, a beautiful whip, but the section before is one of those tricky either-or sections. Triple into it, and then he jumps into that section where there's some whoops. Most riders hitting the front and back tire, but in practice we saw Lusk doing it right there. We saw Chad Reed do it. He just bonks the rear tire through that one section where he's got to touch, and he's so much faster right there.
Michael Byrne currently runs in second. We'll talk about the track conditions, Cameron, and we know that Chad Reed is a stickler for good tires. We look at the battle for third right now. Michael Byrne, Ezra Lusk, number 11. There's Byrne coming through, number 26, on board the Kawasaki. Ezra Lusk, number 11, on board the Yamaha. And Vuillemin going to the inside on the right side of your screen on the split option. The track conditions here, they watered it down heavy last night, but there is a huge hole in the roof here at Texas Stadium. The sun was out all day, baking the track. Cameron, as the temperatures go down, you see a lot of adjustments being made by the tire folks.
Well, they're going to have to. Right there out of that corner, you see bikes sliding all over the place when they get under power. That's directly under where the light was, so it dries out a bit more. But in practice on Friday, they had tons of blue grooving hard dirt. So what they did, they put a bunch of water on it, which made it tough. And look at this, Vuillemin coming up on them.
David Vuillemin trying to make a move on fellow Yamaha rider Ezra Lusk. Lusk feels the pressure. He gasses it. We're on the final lap, and David Vuillemin running a left sleeve. He's got his left-hand sleeve. Look at that. He's got the sleeve pulled up. I don't know if that's a message to someone or what, but he comes through and the white flag is out.
Some riders just feel like when they have their sleeves on, the cuffs should just be tight, and maybe that's one of those things you just want to open up that arm a little bit. He's choosing that inside line. You see him getting a little squirrely in the whoops, but he will have the inside drive here on Windham, and even though they don't ride out of the same semi, they are teammates, so I'm sure these guys will be keeping it clean. But watch the line that Lusk, oh, wow, going to the inside. Now, Lusk has a great line after the start-finish here where they get on, they make a right after the left. He has that wheel bonk that we talked about. Let's see if he can do that. And, oh, Lusk.
Yeah, he went on that inside line, and Cameron, I think the dirt, there was nothing underneath him. And And the checkered flag is out. Chad Reed will pick up the victory here in heat number 2. So a great battle behind him, but it is all Reed. And we have to wait a while for the rest of the riders to come through because Chad Reed was that dominant. Vuillemin continuing to move up. He sits in third. Michael Byrne finally comes through. He'll get second. David Vuillemin slides all the way up. He had a terrible start, and here he is in third place. And the fourth and final transfer position goes to Ezra Lusk. Chad making his usual trip around, giving high fives to everyone here at Texas Stadium. Last lap time extremely fast, and the fastest lap time at 57.27. So Chad Reed on fire.
Definitely the fastest lap we've seen out of either of the races, and we'll have to see who gets first gate pick with the overall elapsed time in their heat. So,
well, the lap times were fast. Chad Reed has the fastest lap time of all the qualifying at 57.2. Windham at 57.8. Reed wins 250, heat number 2, followed by Michael Byrne, David Vuillemin, and Ezra Lusk. Eric Vallejo on the outside looking in. He'll go to semifinal number 2. And with that, let's check in with Jamie.
Well, right before the race, Chad said, you know, I'm not feeling up to par tonight. I haven't been on this bike all week. We had a week off. And now what'd you just tell me about? Once you come out here and race, things change.
Definitely, you know, when the people get in the stands and, you know, when it really counts, I feel like I, you know, feel a lot better on the bike. So that makes me feel better because, you know, I wasn't having too much fun in practice. There was a couple of jumps I was struggling with, and I was glad to get it out of the way that time. But, you know, the Yamaha guys did a great job trying to make me comfortable. The guys at Thor Putts Unlimited, and just having fun out here, trying to make it happen, trying to win another one.
We're down to our final 2 events on the Supercross season. Rice-Eccles Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah on April 24th, and then the finale in the desert, Sam Boyd Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. That comes to you on May 1st. Join us live if you can. If not, check it out on ESPN2. Right now it's time for this week's Suzuki Question of the Week.
I heard Ricky Carmichael was going to ride for Team Suzuki next year, and I was wondering how he's going to affect your team next year.
What a great question that is. I'm Alan Terlecki with American Suzuki. Ricky Carmichael is a valuable asset for us here at Suzuki. He's going to elevate all the riders' riding abilities and be able to teach them a lot of important things. He's past champion and a great kid, and everybody at Suzuki is looking forward to working with him next year and looking for the best year possible. Thanks for asking the Suzuki Question of the Week.
Let's take a quick look at your Thor qualifying results. In Semi 1, it was Tyler Evans with the win, followed by Isaiah Johnson, Keith Johnson, Jacob Martin, and Kyle Lewis.
and in Semi 2, Hamlin, Anderson, Huffman, Clark, and Clark Styles, Alabama Slammer.
The LCQ had Jason Thomas and Joe Aylock. Coming up, the 250 main. Will it be Kevin Windham's day to reign supreme, or will Chad Reed show the way? Stick around and find out. This is the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Todd Harris along with Cameron Steele, Jamie Little is trackside, and we have come to the final event, the 250 main event. Before we do that, let's check in with Jamie, who has more on the Wonder Warthog program.
Wonder Warthog Racing has already dished out more than $40,000 to riders who qualify for their health. But 2 weeks ago in Pontiac, Michigan, the founders Scott Kendall and Steve Bauer, they stepped it up a notch for our Nissan Rider of the Week, Adam Smith.
Wonder Warthog is a program that's designed to help privateers get to the races back and forth and stuff like that, but they've been mostly paying entry fees. If you make the night program, you get your entry fee back. Well, this weekend they had something special going on with ESPN2, and they wanted to show how involved they are with the privateers. So they decided to make a post on motonews.com and try to get a bike for me to ride, and they paid my entry fee to get up here, they paid my gas and all that stuff. So they pretty much put this whole weekend together and made it possible for me to race today.
Adam's story is pretty typical of the privateer lifestyle, sleeping in a car, eating tuna sandwiches, all for the opportunity just to get the chance to maybe qualify for the main event and line up with the world's best.
Without Warthog, I'd just be another name. They've gotten more support for me in the past week than I've had in the past, 7 years of racing. So they're really doing a really well job with the program that they've got going on right now.
Wonder Warthog Racing is a non-profit group dedicated to helping privateers like Adam fight the good fight. Support for the program comes from industry insiders like Supercross promoter Clear Channel, Engine Ice, and a few factory superstars willing to help their privateer brothers out.
Wonder Warthog Racing, you know, it's a good program. You know, I think it's really good for the privateers, and you know, to me, to be in involvement with it, you know, by giving my jersey and my helmets, and you know, to make up any kind of funds I can, it just makes me feel good in myself, and you know, anything to help the privateers out to make it to the race each weekend. And you know, I know it's really hard for me, and all I got to do is get on the airplane and show up. But you know, I know it's hard driving forth, and you know, it's good. I'm glad to be part of it.
All right, thank you very much, Jamie, for that information. More on the Wonder Warthog program, reimbursement of entry, $125 one class, $145 for two class. If they make the main event, over $40,000 paid out so far, and it's support from the industry sponsors, and a lot of that coming from website auction each week of James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael memorabilia.
Definitely one of the most talented riders I've ever seen ride Supercross. Chad Reed, poised to possibly capture a championship. The skill he exudes on the track is just second to none right now, and just amazing. And I don't think the championship can happen here tonight because Windham has to finish too far down, but it should be an exciting race.
As we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid, it's Chad Reed, Kevin Windham, Michael Byrne, Heath Voss, David Vuillemin, Mike LaRocco, and a lot of Johnsons up there as well. This should be an interesting one, as Cameron alluded to. If Chad Reed gets first and Kevin Windham finishes 9th or lower, Chad Reed is your 250 champ. But again, Kevin Windham is too strong. His lap times in practice too fast. But stranger things have happened. As the 30 board goes sideways, it's the 250 main event from Texas Stadium. Mike LaRocco on the inside has a great line. Chad Reed right there with Kevin Windham next to him. Reed's forced to the inside of the split section. Windham to the outside. Look at Windham's drive through there. Here comes Chad Reed. Gets hung up just a little bit. Kevin Windham will get the Butterfinger hole shot, and he will lead them into the green flag lap with Chad Reed right behind him.
And Chad, an uncharacteristic small bobble in the whoops there. It looked like they were going to come out dead even in that corner, in that second corner, but Kevin with the advantage. We'll watch right here, see which way they go. Remember, there's multiple options. Looks like they're going to go the same way. Triple again. Oh, and Chad clipping the edge of that, not able to get that triple, so giving Kevin Windham a little breathing room.
One thing about Chad Reed, he's extremely patient. He knows exactly what he can do. And right now, he's in his comfort zone. Kevin Windham is your leader, number 14 on the Honda. Chad Reed on the Yamaha, number 22. As we look at the Butterfinger replay one more time. As the green flag comes out, the battle is on. Here it is one more time. Kevin Windham right to the front, Cameron.
He had the jump in the center, and he had a great body positioning over that little stutter bump. Not that Chad didn't, but Kevin just getting the drive. Remember, he's riding a 450 four-stroke. Chad's riding a 250, so a little bit bigger motorcycle as well.
Back to racing action. Your leader still, Kevin Windham, number 14 out of Mississippi. Chad Reed, the Australian, now living in Florida, number 22 on board the Yamaha. As we talked about at the top of the show, Cameron, the fishing is on for the services of Chad Reed and Bubba Stewart.
Well, that's something that's got to weigh on his mind. I mean, regardless of what he says, and probably back at Yamaha, maybe somewhere else, but everybody's talking about it, including us. It's got to drive you crazy, but right now, it doesn't seem like it's affecting. He's pulling up on the wheel of Windham. Got to watch and see where he's faster, but he's definitely up on the tail. He can go for an inside move, but Chad's a smart customer. He won't force it if he doesn't have to.
No question about that. It's a long race. This is not a sprint in the marathon in the world of Supercross. Kevin Windham, your leader, Chad Reed right behind him, and this is what America's wanted to see all year long. Look at the drive of Reed.
And Chad getting the inside line. Wasn't one of his best runs through the whoops, but very solid getting the run, and then inside takes the line away from Windham.
And you hit it dead on the head, Cameron. He didn't get the line, he took the line. The AMA has done a great job this year. I give him all the credit in the world, but Chad Reed makes a clean pass, and that is some fine racing right there. Again, he'll go for the triple this time, clears it, as does Kevin Windham. So it's 2-stroke versus 4-stroke. And if it stays like this, Reed will not get the title this week. He'll have to wait for Salt Lake City. And Kevin Windham told our Jamie a little earlier that he felt tonight was his night. Here's the pass.
Watch the drive. You see Chad get the wheel up and get going. He gets a little bit out of shape to the side, but drives up the inside, and Windham knows he's there. Still tries to come back down on the line, but Chad isn't having any of it. Great, clean racing from these two guys. And back in this whoop section, Windham going to the inside this time.
Kevin Windham uncharacteristically cannot pull within Chad Reed on that whip section, an area that usually has no problem of blitzing. He looked very good in practice yesterday and today. Meanwhile, Chad Reed continues to lead. This is the 250 main event. Reed, number 22, on board the Yamaha. Kevin Windham, number 14, on board the Honda. And you can see that. Go get some.
Get some from Jonathan Hyland, his mechanic. We call him Doc Awesome also. They give him a hard time, but he's a great mechanic. And right now, Windham needs to find somewhere to catch up on Reedy.
And we just got word that Ryan Clark is out of the race, so that doesn't do us well with helmet cam services. But we've got a great battle right now for 1 and 2. Dropping back to third is David Vuillemin and Mike LaRocco having their own little battle. But this is the battle we're watching. Windham and Reed. Reed in front, Windham in second. Here's where Kevin Windham has to use all his experience, Cameron, to find some position. Use that thumb for four stroke to pull up from Chad Reed.
Well, one thing a few of us were talking about is that, you know, this track looked like it was going to be very, very slippery. You can see the guys sliding around, especially in this next left-hand corner when they come to it. We're going to go back, though, and take a look at Vuillemin. But Chad Reed is a choppy throttle guy. On, off, real hard. Windham's more of a throttle delivery. You know, he kind of rolls it on. So people thought it might fit his form better. Not working out that way. Mike LaRocco, Vuillemin.
Yeah, this is a classic battle. David Vuillemin sitting in third, number 12 on board the Yamaha. Mike LaRocco, number 5, on board that all-familiar Honda. Mike LaRocco having one of his best seasons, picking up that victory in Indianapolis in front of the home crowd. And right now, he is trying to find a way around the Cobras. David Vuillemin out of France, now living in the States on board the Yamaha. David Vuillemin's favorite time of the year, Supercross and the NBA playoffs coincide. Rounds out his week, but Mike LaRocco, the Indiana native, trying to do like the Pacers and absolutely dominate the field.
Look at you go. I like it. Vuillemin's on a tear right now.
He's on a tear, and one of his favorite players, Tony Parker, for the San Antonio Spurs, also a former Frenchman. David told me, send out a little love to Tony Parker. I want to hook up with the guy. But Vuillemin right now sits in third. He has gained 2.39 seconds on that last lap. Mike LaRocco staying right with him. Your leader, Chad Reed, and he is starting to open up a little bit more of a breathing room gap on Kevin Windham. We've got much more 250 main from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. As Chad Reed's mechanic looks on, your running order, Reed, Windham, Vuillemin, and LaRocco. Back to Texas Stadium. We are in Irving. Your leader, Chad Reed, the 250 main event. He is on lap number 9. Did not get the whole shot. That honor went to Kevin Windham, but it was shortly thereafter that Chad Reed used all his style, speed, whatever you want. The guy shows patience, and he's out in front. His last lap time of 57.864. Kevin Windham closing the lap just a little bit. His last lap time was a 57.72.
So Windham definitely not giving up, and that's key. Any kind of little mistake from Reed, anything can happen in Supercross.
Oh, we talked a lot about the dirt today and how important the tires were. The track watered down heavily last night. The sun was out. If you haven't been to Texas Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, there's a big hole in this roof. Damon Huffman holding up his hand saying, sorry, didn't mean to hold you up. He's now a lap rider. But the dirt got baked in the middle of the track, and that section they just went through has become very slippery, Cameron. So I know the tire doctors were out there checking it right before the main event, finding out the best tire, the best composite to hook up for these guys. So as we look at Kevin Windham in second, let's go back to the battle for third. That's number 12, David Vuillemin. Number 5 is Mike LaRocco. LaRocco on the red Honda. Number 5, Vuillemin on the Yamaha. Number 12 just coming into your view.
And I just kind of watched right there, a couple different lines from those guys, and it almost looked like Vuillemin wasn't really attacking in that corner, and Mike LaRocco's pulled right up on him. I'm not sure if something's going on here, or if you see Vuillemin looking over his shoulder as well, so.
Well, a lot of people, the rap on David Vuillemin has been fitness possibly starting to slow down in the latter parts of the races, and Mike LaRocco's certainly taking advantage of that. Take nothing away from David Vuillemin. His first 11 laps were blistering fast. But right now, that section right there, that work section, has really taken its toll on a lot of riders.
And then Heath Voss coming into your picture right now, running 5th, but He's definitely in a great position because Huffman's sitting in 16th place. He's taken over the lead in this World Supercross points chase. And not only that, he's got some riders that are going to get in between him and Huffman, including Tyler Evans, who's currently sitting in third in those points.
2 months ago, you wouldn't believe this would happen. Heath Voss was not yet ready. Tyler Evans is up there. Grant Langston. He has patiently worked his way up. Meanwhile, as Heath Voss sits in 5th place with the last lap time, Byrne, who had a great run, a great start running in the top 10. This is the problems of Michael Byrne in that same whoop section, Cameron. Look at the center of the screen.
Doubling in, attacking. See him get a little squirrely, and then the wheel starts dropping in. Byrne taking a digger, and he's been suffering from the flu. Couldn't shake it 3 weeks. Said he's feeling better, but still not 100%. Maybe just as time ticks down and flu has been in your body, just running out of energy.
With 7 laps to go, Tyler Evans, folks, number 15, is a great rider, and Chad Reed's just about to lap him. He is passing all the way up to 10th place. With 7 laps to go, Chad Reed continues to dominate. Just when we think there may be a battle, Chad Reed is doing exactly what he has to do as he goes through a tear-off. Scott, all the people there at Yamaha have been there for him. Thor and Chad Reed has been nothing but spectacular this year.
Oh, and Windham having to check a little bit on Evans, coming inside a little bit. No, Windham gets a little bit squirrely.
But he has closed the gap between himself and Chad Reed, and Chad takes a look over his shoulder on that last triple. I don't know if he hears the thumper coming or what. With that, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Kevin Windham has definitely turned up the gas. You guys, there were about 4 lappers in between the 2 riders. Now Kevin Windham, he sees his opportunity, and he's all over Chad Reed.
Well, good point, Jamie, because Chad Reed has 2 lappers in front of him in the form of number 34 and number 36, and that's Sean Hamlin. And this is really impeding his progress. The flag is out to let him through, but I don't think Hamlin saw it. So he's really going to have to slow down, and here comes Kevin Windham.
Unbelievable lappers making an opening for Windham, but he was on the charge. We'll see if he can get up there on Reed. Now Reed's going to have some clear racetrack ahead of him.
Well, that's not Team Red riding rules because those other 2 riders on a Suzuki. Styles was in there, Sean Hamlin was in there, and here comes Windham. So you usually don't get a second chance at Chad Reed, but Kevin Windham has lived another day. Look at this. He's back up in the running 4 laps ago. This was unheard of, and here he is. So Chad Reed, I don't think he's off the gas. I think he's just encountering some untimely lap riders. Oh. Jonathan Hyland, this is a family show, young man. Disney owns us.
Well, one thing, going through the section, and Windham having a problem clipping there, coming up short. The track is difficult. It gets slippery in some spots, depending on where you've tired for. There's hard, flu groove, slippery areas, and then there's some gooey areas, so you got to pick your battles and where you're going to throw them at.
With 5 laps to go, we've got a whole new battle on our hands. Kevin Windham has re-emerged as a contender in the main event with Mike LaRocco now moving up to 3rd. Make sure you come back to Texas Stadium for the conclusion. This is going to be a good one, the 250 main.
Anything's possible.
An event that started in 1998 is fast approaching its 7th year as the sport's annual kickoff showcase. The Maxxis U.S. Open, October 8th to the 10th, will feature Supercross's biggest stars on their new factory rides for the first time ever. Can defending champion Chad Reed hold off Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, and the rest of the field? It's only a few short months away before the bikes invade the MGM Grand Garden Arena, October 8th to the 10th, Las Vegas, Nevada. Back to Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas, with just 4 laps to go. Your leader continues to be number 22, Chad Reed. But Kevin Windham has got back into the game. He now sits just over a second behind Reed. And Cameron, are you surprised the 4-stroke hasn't been more effective tonight? He did get the whole shot, but he has been unable to sustain, especially on the long straightaways.
I thought with how slippery some of these corners were that he'd have a little bit more of an advantage. I mean, it's not just a bike. These guys are just unbelievable riders, but we did think he was going to hook up maybe a little bit more than Chad. And right there, he just lapped Ezra Lusk. What place is Ezra? 6th place.
Unbelievable. Chad Reed, number 22, has been all that has been billed. This young man is truly a phenomenal find for Yamaha, for the United States, for Supercross and whole. He has brought it to a whole new level, and I cannot wait, and I re-emphasize that, for next year when he's on the line with a Ricky Carmichael, with a Kevin Windham, with a James Bubba Stewart, with a Travis Pastrana. It will be one of the best gates ever when we get to Anaheim 1 in 2005.
We'll actually probably see that gate at the U.S. Open in October.
Very true, my friend. Las Vegas and the Maxxis U.S. Open October 8th to the 10th. But I'll tell you, for the folks at the AMA who've done a great job this year, they are going to have their hands full next year because there are going to be a lot of egos and a lot of speed on that line. And they're going to have to really give a little bit because the racing is going to be epic.
Well, we talked about Chad maybe clinching the title tonight. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I mean, Windham's right there, but sets himself up for a title in Salt Lake City, so maybe he can relax just a little bit when he gets to Las Vegas. But I'll tell you one thing, I know Chad Reed, he's going to want to win all these races, and Kevin Windham's not going to want to let him, so don't think they're going to relax too much. These guys are going to be banging.
With 2 laps to go, your leader continues to be number 22, Chad Reed. He has increased the interval just like we knew he would, like clockwork. Put a little pressure on him. 22 grabs some more throttle. The interval between him and second place Kevin Windham is now up to 4.7 seconds, and I can't take anything away from Kevin Windham. The bike looks good. He looks good. Chad Reed is just so quick on his exit speed. As I tell my kids, he lands perfectly on the downward sides of doubles and triples and never scrubs the speed, so he's always picking up fractions of time.
Always on the throttle, too. It's amazing back there in that one section. I'll point it out when they get to it. They're doing like a triple. It's like 45 feet long off a 2-foot-tall takeoff, but the key part is he's got about 6 feet coming out of the corner. And was that a lap? Did he just lap Voss?
Lapped 5th. Heath Voss is a phenomenal rider, and Chad Reed has just lapped him in 19 laps. We are on the final lap, the 250 main from Irving, Texas. And folks, I'll tell you what, if you want a clinic video on how to ride Supercross, just tape the show and show your students, because Chad Reed has done just that.
Shocking. He's just so good, isn't he?
He's going by his cousin now. Can it get any better for the Australian Chad Reed going past his cousin, number 30, Craig Anderson? And Chad Reed has just been phenomenal this year. Believe all the hype of this young man. He is certainly for real, and I think he knows it. The Supercross world knows it, and the folks at Yamaha definitely know it, as do the rest of the industry riders, and he will be a great find for anyone who can sign up for next year. Your winner of the 250 main, Chad Reed. Joy all around for Team Blue and Yamaha. He did not clinch the title, but he certainly sent a message. Kevin Windham can run with him all he wants, but when it comes down to the checkers, it's Chad Reed. Kevin Windham, what else can I do? Chad Reed is just on his game. Dallas has been very, very good today, young man. His last lap time, 1:09.38, but his fastest lap time is 56 seconds. He does what he has to do, and when we come back to Dallas, we'll talk to your...
Suzuki Summer Sizzler is here with...
Welcome back to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys, but tonight, Chad Reed is the man of the house as we take a look at our Honda 250 main event results. Reed, your winner, followed by Kevin Windham, Mike LaRocco, David Vuillemin, and Heath Voss with a tremendous finish in 5th. Ezra Lusko 6th. Tyler Evans rounding out the top 10 with Sean Hamlin checking in at 8th. There's Keith Johnson, Michael Byrne in 12th. Craig Anderson down to 15th. Kyle Lewis, Lucky's in there at 16th. Clark Stiles, Joe Aloff, and Ryan Clark in 20th. Right now, let's send it down to the podium and Jamie Little.
This is 2 of our favorite faces to see on the podium every week, and Mike LaRocco, hard charger, up here again. I think this is your 9th podium of the year. Mike, David Vuillemin, he was on a rampage there for a while until you came along. Tell me about your path.
Well, actually, he got by me early. I got a good start again, you know, imagine that. So I was stoked about that, but just didn't really get the groove on. And, you know, he got around me, and I just tried to, you know, dive in behind him and follow his lines. And then, you know, eventually I caught on to him and added something to it and went back by him.
All right, K-Dub, you kept this entire stadium on their feet the whole night. Oh, my gosh, you kind of faded. You were there. You were back. What happened at the end, though? Was it you? Were you fading, or was it Chad just pulling away?
Well, in the main event there, we were running 56s, and in the heats we were doing 57. So I wasn't quite ready to run that pace, but I just said, you know, I got to, and I gave it all I could. I ran it for as long as I could. It felt really good to make a run back at him, you know, a little bit over halfway through the race. And everything went good. You know, Chad just kind of was able to step it up for the main. And I did as well, but just was a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So it was a good ride. You know, just keep plugging along. Just try to do the best I can at these last couple races. And try to keep getting this Honda factory connection 450 up on the podium.
Well done, Kevin Windham, and it all culminates in Las Vegas, Nevada. Get your tickets now. The official destination of Supercross as we take a look at the series point standings as Texas Stadium continues to empty out. I'll tell you what, Chad Reed has looked good all year long, and that is the reason why he is atop the podium. Also on the World Supercross GP, Heath Voss doing wonders. 3 months ago, no chance we thought he'd be up there, and look at him now. Unbelievable. Well, speaking of champions, let's send it back down to Jamie Little with Chad Reed.
All right, 10 times in victory circle for Chad Reed. It's when we see a big smile on this guy's face. Chad, tell me about that rhythm section going into the triple. You were phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I struggled with it all day yesterday and all this morning. So, you know, it seemed like I turned that around for me and was definitely an advantage. You know, I knew that I had to do it as much as possible, whether there was somebody in front of me or not. And, you know, just real thankful for the guys at Bridgestone for giving me great tires to get the traction, and all the guys at Yamaha and Thor Parts Unlimited, Scott. You know, my trainer, Jeff Spencer, it was hot and humid here, and, you know, what you need to do is go 20 laps, and that's what won the race tonight.
All right, you guys, we have 2 more races to go. The championship's not wrapped up yet.
Congratulations to Chad Reed, and by the way, he is the defending U.S. Open champion, and we remind you the Maxxis U.S. Open comes to you October 8th to the 10th, Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Get your tickets now. It'll be great with Ricky back in business. Our next show comes to you Sunday, April 25th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Chad Reed from Salt Lake City. So on behalf of Cameron Steele and Jamie Little, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from Dallas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner, Chad Reed. Good night, everybody.